I'm living in a nightmare. Something has to change or I'm going to die.
I've given up the best years of my life to addiction and illness.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on the receiving end of Dr. Now's tough love? That's exactly what happened to June McCamey. June's life was a constant battle, struggling with severe lymphedema and weight issues that brought her face-to-face with DR. Now's no-nonsense approach. Imagine being so restricted that even a trip to the bathroom becomes a major ordeal. That's exactly what June faced every single day. Her mobility was severely limited, and at nearly 600 pounds, she couldn't accomplish most tasks without her girlfriend's help. But wait, things get even more intense.
Nightmare. I'm in pain. I'm breathing heavy. And it just hurts to sit up. The weight is too much.
You'd think battling lymphedema and weight issues would be the toughest part, right? Wrong. The opening scene of June's episode showed just how challenging her daily life was. We watched as she, with the help of her family, struggled through the simplest of tasks, like bathing. Just getting cleaned up left her utterly exhausted. And what did she turn to for comfort? A breakfast that was frankly a mountain of food. A feast fit for 3 people. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't be overwhelmed by that? But how is this going to affect her meeting with DR now?
It is so difficult even to get in the tub. And then I can't stand up for long.
Determined to change her life, June packed up and traveled to Houston to seek Dr. Now's help. Now here's where it gets jaw-dropping. Dr. Now was shocked, no, floored, to discover that June had gained nearly 125 pounds since their last encounter 5 years ago. His reaction? Pure bluntness. You don't have time to waste now. He urged her to ditch the sport, but June countered with excuses, claiming another doctor advised her to eat more. Yeah, like DR. Now was going to buy that. Spoiler alert, he didn't.
To your medical chart, you had a number of medical issues.
I had a heart attack in 2011.
And you had a stroke.
Yeah, I had a major stroke in 2010.
And you're taking about 18, 19, 20, 21 medication.
Yeah.
That really concerned me.
Watching June make minimal progress must have been so frustrating for DR. Now, she constantly criticized the hospital food and cheated on her diet with fast food. After 5 months, there were no significant signs of weight loss. Dr. Now had seen enough and decided to admit her into the hospital for a strict diet and close monitoring. But guess what? June's cooperation was less than stellar. Surprise, surprise, right?
To be on almost 0 carb, high protein diet. Here in the hospital for the next month.
I do have one question. You said no fruit. What about strawberries? Maybe once or twice a day? Only 1 or 2?
We want to eliminate sugar as much as possible.
The strawberries, I'm being very honest with you. Strawberries are my addiction.
I don't think June grasped the gravity of her situation.
As you can guess, Doctor Now's patience began to wear thin when June said, "No, baby, I will not agree with you." Dr. Now's savage reality check. If you don't follow what your doctor says, you should go see somebody else. Ouch. That one had to sting. Despite this, June struggled to stick to the diet plan, often complaining that the meal plan was comparable to pet food. Her resistance to change was glaringly obvious.
You are not letting your diseases go away is bothering me.
Sweetheart, I'm gonna be honest. I don't agree with you where I'm holding on to a disease. No, baby, I will not agree with you with that.
If you were really serious about this, I would see evidence of that. Your walker is a good example. You don't need the walker, you want the walker. If you're serious about being active,
By the end of her episode, June had managed to drop down to an impressive 389 pounds, thanks to Dr. Now's relentless efforts. Even though she still had more weight to lose, she found herself happier and healthier than ever before. Now, if that isn't a testament to Dr. Now's tough love approach, I don't know what is. So what do you think about Dr. Now's methods? Ruthless or necessary?
I'm Taylor. How you doing? I'm great. I'm June.
I'm doing so much more on my own right now, and I've made more progress in this past year than I thought I would ever do. A year ago, the thought of being able to go out and even fit in a salon chair was just a dream.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm living that dream.
You won't believe the ruthless moments from Dr. Now on my 600 lb life that have everyone talking. Donald Shelton's journey, which began over 12 years ago, is one of the most unforgettable stories from the show. Donald's path was anything but smooth. From emotional highs and crushing lows to shocking twists. Let's dive into his incredible story and see what made Dr. Now's interventions so memorable.
Just being a big person, I can't just get up and walk around like most normal people can. Too big for my legs. I can't walk very far because of my weight.
Now, Donald's journey wasn't a walk in the park. He was battling congestive heart failure and diabetes, managing 13 to 14 medications daily. Can you imagine juggling that many pills every day? It's mind-boggling. But what brought Donald to this point? His struggle with food began early in life. As a kid, he found comfort in food, especially when spending time with his grandmother, who unintentionally enabled his eating habits. By 18, Donald was already tipping the scales at 400 pounds. Did his grandmother's influence play a role in his weight issues?
I'm concerned with his weight. Always. When Donald was little, him and his brother, everybody thought they were twins. But then Donald just started getting bigger and bigger.
Age 5, I was 150 pounds. 16, I was pushing 275. When I was 19, I was about 400. After I got that age, it was too hard to...
Digging deeper into Donald's life, we see more challenges. Growing up in a single-parent household and losing close family members to heart-related issues added to his burdens. Losing his job due to his heart condition only made things worse. When life got tough, Donald turned to food for solace. How did these hardships shape his journey to health? It's a question worth thinking about.
Bad cellulitis. I'll be able to do a lot more stuff if my legs wouldn't hurt so bad. If I lost the weight, they would clear up.
He don't want you to help him, but he knows that we got to help him.
He can't get up, so I bring his food to him. I help him get dressed. He has to have his clothes washed.
Because he can't do it on his own. He's too big.
Things got even more intense when Donald lost his job because of his heart condition. At this crucial turning point, he sought help from Dr. Now, weighing a staggering 702 pounds. Dr. Now put him on a strict 1,200-calorie diet and an exercise regimen, aiming for an 80-pound weight loss in 2 months. But sticking to this plan was no easy feat for Donald. Could he really commit to making such a drastic change?
so how you doing? Any question, anything you need to know?
Just ready to go.
Anybody here with you?
Oh, plenty.
All right, we'll get you fixed now.
Nervous now. Hope everything goes all right.
Being 675 pounds, this does make Donald to be high risk for surgery.
Donald's life was incredibly complicated. His weight brought severe health concerns, including extreme lymphedema. Standing for more than 30 seconds was a challenge, and the constant fear of falling loomed large. If he fell, getting back up was nearly impossible. He even wore grip socks in the shower to prevent slipping. Can you imagine living with such intense fear every day just to keep yourself safe?
Very well.
He's doing okay. He's got some ice chips. We're raising up his legs a little. He's complaining mostly about his leg. He's done good after the surgery. I'm glad he made it through it okay.
When Donald first sought Dr. Now's help, he weighed 675 pounds. Unlike many others on the show, Donald wasn't just battling food addiction, he was also struggling with drug addiction. Both issues severely impacted his confidence and pushed him to seek a healthier life. Despite these challenges, Donald managed to drop 392 pounds following his gastric bypass surgery. It seemed like he was on the right track, but there was more to come.
You know, they wanted to move him to San Antonio. That's when family got together and knocked down walls and brought Donald home instead. That's the whole place where he had the gastric bypass. He weighed 675 pounds. He broke the bathtub. It's got to come out. This used to be 2 rooms, but we made it into 1. This wall went from here.
Just when it looked like things were improving, Donald was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare disorder where the immune system attacks the nerves, causing weakness and tingling in the hands and feet. This diagnosis was a huge setback, leaving Donald unable to walk and confined to a wheelchair. Despite this, he remained determined to achieve his goal weight. Can you imagine the resilience it takes to keep fighting after such a diagnosis?
Not moving, so we're getting updated x-ray and a CAT scan.
He can tilt his chair back and then y'all can lift him up.
Last time I saw Donald, he was getting heavier. Donald, in the past year, he has gained approximately 100 pounds. He was down to 200 pounds, now he's up to 300 pounds.
Donald's story is a roller coaster of emotions. His determination in the face of such immense challenges is inspiring. Even though he regained weight due to his illness, his spirit to keep pushing forward is something we can all learn from. How do you think you would handle such a situation? His story reminds us that no matter how tough things get, perseverance can lead to incredible transformations.
I'm excited to be working out again.
Okay, this is number 10. We're gonna do 5 more.
Okay. I'm ready to get the weight off that I put back on, and it gets pretty hard, but I ain't giving up. I'm here, I'm doing it, and nothing's gonna stop me. No more setbacks. So it's straightforward now. 799.
When we first meet Gideon, he's over 650 pounds and desperate for help from Dr. Now in Houston, Texas. Gideon was ready to change, and with the support of his wife Kayleigh and son Jonathan, he took a brave step towards reclaiming his health. Now, let me tell you, Gideon's journey wasn't smooth sailing.
When I wake up, I instantly feel pain all over my body. My weight puts pressure on me, makes my back hurt. My legs swell, and it's a constant battle to catch my breath.
His childhood was anything but stable thanks to his father's alcohol addiction and intense family conflicts. Losing his father at just 8 years old only deepened his emotional reliance on food. Food wasn't just sustenance for Gideon, it was his escape, his comfort from all the pain and chaos.
Food has always been a comfort for me. When my parents got divorced, I was about 8 years old. That definitely is when I think everything kind of went downhill for me, emotionally. I remember not really understanding, but I knew I felt better when I ate.
But wait, the hardships didn't stop there. At 11, while in the care of a family friend, Gideon experienced physical abuse. Tragically, he kept this ordeal to himself and turned to food for solace. It's a heart-wrenching reminder that no child should ever have to seek comfort in such a way. Can you imagine carrying that kind of burden?
I turned to try to find some type of a calmness. By the time I was 12, I was already so big that I had to buy my clothes from the big and tall section in the men's department. And my weight was a constant source of ridicule with my stepmom. And she didn't really want me around at all, so she would send me to fat camp. I remember the stigma of embarrassment attached to the whole situation. But regardless of what I did, there was never weight loss.
Gideon's move to Houston with his family marked a new chapter, but the strain on his marriage was evident. Kaylee was exhausted from being his full-time caretaker, and she was ready to leave if Gideon didn't take his health seriously. Gideon had to face the music. Listen to DR now or lose everything. Thankfully, he chose the former, and while his weight loss wasn't as fast as he hoped, he lost enough to qualify for bariatric surgery. Can you believe the transformation from 650 pounds to 429 pounds? That's almost half his starting weight.
And then I eat maybe one small meal during the day. Like I'll go through fast food, get like 2 hamburgers, 3 cookies.
So you call that small meal?
Well, I mean, compared to like my dinner meal, it's smaller.
Well, for a typical dinner, what do you usually have at home?
We usually have quick meals, so like spaghetti, because I do work late.
So who does grocery shopping?
I do, typically.
You do.
Yeah.
Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Post-surgery. Gideon initially felt great, but soon found himself more lethargic than ever. This lethargy stalled his progress, leaving him stuck at a higher weight than he wanted. He continually dozed off, frustrating Kaylee to the point where she threatened to leave him again. Talk about a wake-up call. With his relationship on the line, Gideon prioritized his health and continued his weight loss journey. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to push you forward, right?
Biggest concern with Gideon is most of his weight is in mid-portion abdomen. So it's going to be challenging to do gastric bypass on him. We can turn the room light off. Gastric bypass surgery is a weight loss surgery that we reduce size of the stomach about 90%. We create a small pouch and we hook that to the small bowel.
As Gideon started losing more weight, his relationship with Kaylee seemed to improve. They even welcomed a daughter in 2017, which temporarily put their issues on hold. But let's be real, life isn't always a fairy tale. Despite their best efforts, the couple's relationship remained rocky for several years. By 2020, Kaylee posted on Facebook that they had decided to divorce. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially after all they'd been through together. But hey, sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay.
Oklahoma, living with Kaylee's parents for a couple months, and I still feel tired and just drained all the time. I feel like I need to do something to repay my in-laws though. So I got a list of chores of things to do around the house. How do I turn it on?
We have water.
I'm like a kid right now that has to have his hand held to do things.
Imagine starting your day with a massive breakfast that could make a linebacker blush, all before even brushing your teeth. For Justin McSwain, food was more than just flavor. It was his main comfort through the toughest times, especially as he grappled with his own body. Even something as simple as taking a shower was a battle due to his size, turning daily hygiene into a huge ordeal. But how did Justin get to this point?
I've gotten so big now, doing just about everything is difficult. Every day gets harder to move, harder to stand, harder to walk, and harder to breathe. So it takes just about everything in me to finally convince myself to get up, because I know how bad it's going to be. But it's a struggle, and I have a lot of anxiety.
When we rewind to Justin's childhood, we see where his struggles began. Living with his stepmother, who would padlock the food and berate him for overeating, set the stage for his complicated relationship with food. Therapy later became key to his weight loss. But early on, food was his constant companion. With his parents' complicated relationship and eventual divorce, Justin often found solace in endless snacks and meals, leading him to weigh over 100 pounds by the time he was just 6 years old. And it didn't stop there, especially during his school days.
With food started really young, because my early childhood was hard. I didn't fully realize it at the time, but my mom developed a drug problem. She hurt her back, and with that got addicted to painkillers. And when they stopped her prescription, she eventually started going to harder stuff like heroin. But as a child, all I knew was that my mom started to become unreliable.
As Justin grew older, his eating habits became even more intense. By 5th grade, he was devouring large pizzas by himself. As an adult, his diet was a mountain of fried meat, bread, and bowls of potatoes, accompanied by a steady stream of sodas, energy drinks, chips, and candy. Can you imagine living like that every day? Grocery shopping was like throwing a mini party every time the groceries arrived. Ice cream, soda, chips, ribs, and steaks filled his list. But did Justin ever stop to consider a healthier path?
And as long as I have my mom and food, everything is good.
Yeah, good boy.
But when I'm done, and my mom has to leave, it's like my whole life comes crashing back down on me. And the depression and fear sets back in. It was good.
I know it was. Oh, Finn, I hope you enjoyed your little bit too.
I'm sure he did.
Adopting a healthy lifestyle wasn't easy for Justin, who had a shockingly tragic first weigh-in. Hoping his weight would be in the upper 500s or lower 600s at least, he was devastated when the scale showed 687.5 pounds. It was far from the goal weight he had in mind. At just 27 years old, Justin was struggling. Because of his size, he could no longer go to an office to work. He developed debilitating anxiety and agoraphobia, and had all of his food delivered so he didn't have to go outside.
It's hard to describe, but it's like even my bones hurt at times. And I know it's because my body is starting to break down because of all the weight I've had on it for so long. I know I'm not gonna live for much longer if I keep doing this. So I'm terrified right now because I know there's a good chance I could go to sleep one night and just not wake up.
Realizing he needed to turn things around, Justin reached out to the renowned DR. Now, imagine struggling to fit into a rental car to make your way to the doctor's office. But that's exactly what Justin did, and it marked the beginning of his transformation. Dr. Now's no-nonsense approach was exactly what Justin needed. Despite the tough love and brutal honesty, Justin persevered. It wasn't easy, but 2 years later, after undergoing weight loss surgery, he became one of the most successful patients ever featured on the show.
You eat at home or you eat out?
I eat at home.
So who cooks?
I'll cook for myself. I have groceries delivered.
What do you mean groceries delivered? You can't go and buy your own groceries?
I'm not able to walk around long enough to actually go through a grocery store. A few minutes, tops.
Who else lives in your household?
I live alone, but my mom comes over to help me out.
Does your mom bring you food now?
Yeah.
So she's your neighbor now. And that combined with your emotional...
Now, at 30 years old, Justin has lost more than 450 pounds. Can you believe that? His journey is a testament to what determination and the right support can achieve. It's incredible to think about the physical and emotional mountains he had to climb. Watching Justin's story, it's clear that Dr. Now's tough love, while ruthless at times, can lead to truly life-changing results.
Very proud of Justin and all the progress he has made over the past year. He's done great, and he's been one of the most determined and hardworking weight loss patients I have ever had. And as long as he continues going to therapy and working through his emotional issues, I'm very confident he's going to make it to his target weight soon, and then be able to do this for the long term.